back to that in a minute about, where do you get your inspiration from? What leaders, where do you get your inspiration from to be the leader that you are? But before I do that, I want to ask you quickly about hiring, because people I'm finding are very careful now. They want to be able to work remote. They want to be able to be virtual. They don't want to be told they have to go into an office. And if they're going to go into an office, they want to know with those buttons that they can have comfort, control, and agility
Yeah.
inside that space. So, what's your game plan there?
As far as do we hire when we hire, do we hire what kind of people do we go after, or where do I see the world going, or
Is it going to be a virtual company?
um, I will say this. I've been on calls with clients. Like I'm not an analyst, but I put together a company at Forrester. I put together systems where we were able to switch virtual on a snap. We went from, we had a lot of work from home people to begin with, maybe I think like 10% or something. Maybe it was bigger than that. But when I came to Forrester, I switched us to, um, I tried to optimize on collaboration and cloud and accessibility. I remember a slide where I was like, it's about remote, it's about on the go, it's about accessibility, the collaboration, productivity. Those are the things we have to optimize on. So we switched to all sorts of tools that were flexible and we use them constantly. So the culture of the company, that's not all me. That's like, George Colony, the CEO of Forrester, he absolutely, we prioritized, not just me, but my boss, the CEO and founder of the company, prioritized productivity, accessibility, over almost everything else, So when I got to the company, it was like, I really need you to revamp everything. Everything is really hard to get to. So 9 years ago, we went full cloud, all these different tools to, work on, offline, online, virtual, video. We were a very video, heavy company to begin with.
Mm.
So when COVID happened and we decided to close the offices, it was like bang, everyone didn't miss a beat when we went over. I've talked to a lot of clients and about their switches being a little more difficult or whatever, but everyone seems to say kind of the same thing, which is that it's a bit cultural. Like there is definitely a person, a prototype, a personality that works better. There are, reasons why you're more productive at home and less.
Yeah.
Here's one little niche one, which is that since we were so virtual, we would have executive team meetings often. And, I live in New York. I'm not always in our headquarters in Cambridge, Mass. So, and other people are other places. Inevitably, you'd have 75% of the people in the room and 25% of the people on video. And the people in the room inevitably, invariably, always sort of blow off the people in the video. And there's private conversations and people in the video like, but I have to, And one good thing about this experience is that people who never had to work on video before now have newfound respect for the person on video.
Mm.
It has leveled the playing field. Everyone's on video.
Yeah.
So you learn new ways to go, I want to speak next. You can't, it's hard to interrupt. So it's actually brought out, I think, some good behaviors and experiences. Will everyone go back to a virtual, I certainly think there will be some companies who are like, I don't need the office. The office is so 2010s.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I
already happening.
remember companies in 2009 saying, we don't own a server. That's so 90s, And we're like, wow, a company that doesn't own a server. Wow. Now it's going to be like, we don't have an office. We don't need one. I don't know if our company is going to do that because just the nature of it. I think a certain percentage, whatever we were before, and I can't remember, let's say we were 15% before, I think that number is going to go way up.
Yeah.
And I think that's not a Forrester thing. That's whatever your percentage of work from home was before, it's going to be higher.
So let's say you had a candidate that you really wanted,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't work in the actual physical space. They would only work remotely and come in, maybe once a month if need be, or for big conferences, or
Right.
which they exist anymore. But what would you do? Would you still go for that hire?
It depends on the position, obviously.
Mhm.
I would say before, um, we had a lot of people, we had a lot of work from home people before, and some of those were people that migrated home. Someone, they moved from Cambridge to wherever, and we were like, fine, we love you so much, you'll work from home.
Right.
Other people we hired and they were so good, we were like, all right, let's let them work from home. Some positions you can't. Um, but again, I would say we and everyone else are far more apt to go, I like this candidate, even though they work from home, I think they're better overall picture. Um, I, I think I could be off, and it could be that, it becomes not a factor at all in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It also, like, Zoom, WebEx, they got pretty good pretty fast. They're going to get better.
Yeah,
They're
for
just going to
sure.
get better and better. It's going to be a better experience, clear experience. You're going to see, I don't know if you saw Westworld, but their technology is such that it's like you're there, you feel like you're in the room.
Mm,
Like they're literally you, like that's how it just all projects out. Like
yeah,
why wouldn't that be the future,
yeah, yeah, exactly. So
So
my
I'm
last question, because I know you're busy and I don't want to keep you, and I feel like I've taken so much of your time already.
always a pleasure, Doreen.
I know we could talk for hours.
Hours.
But I really want to know, especially in this challenging time where it just seems like crisis is kind of everywhere. Where
Yeah.
do you go for your inspiration to be the leader that you are?
uh Good question. I've often said, if there was another planet I could go, I think I said this to you, if there was another planet I could go to right now, I think I'd go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Elon Musk is working on that for us.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Certainly, there's the people I work with, like my boss and others who I pick out like things that they're doing that I'm impressed by. And even if I don't like all the other things they're doing, so to me, I guess what I'm trying to say is, to me, it's like, it's not necessarily one person. I pick pieces out.
Mm.
So my boss, recently we were tackling something, and he climbed into, this is the CEO of a big public company, and he decided he needed to climb into 3 hours of accounting to understand something. And I was like, that's not, A, it's not really what a CEO should be doing, but B, I'm impressed that he decided that this moment called for him knowing those details. And he inspired me to like actually climb into some details for this business that I probably would have been, maybe someone else can handle that. So that
Yeah.
was an example of like me, just this little bit of inspiration about what this moment calls. And if he's doing that for the big company, I should do that for the little company. The guy that I mentioned before, whose startup we
Harry.
bought, yeah, very good. He's inspired me. I told him that many times. He's inspired me because I'm just learning all sorts of things about, like, things that I've got complacent about, and just accepted about the world around me. He's a I say throw the table over kind of guy, and just talking to him 2 hours, 3 hours a day, I've started to understand that my perspective needs to be broader than the company I'm in. That the competition that we're facing, they don't have our big company issues. I'm always inspired by one of our analysts, James McQuivey, whose book, Digital Disruption, which is like 8 years old, 5 years old. I still read it.
Mm.
He talks about companies who are stuck in, selling the same different versions of the same product they've always sold to the same customers they've always sold to in the same ways they've always sold to. I always keep that book in my head, especially now that I'm running a product. There's influence, there's inspiration everywhere. The Black Lives Matter thing, Black Black Lives Matter things that just went through, all the people who stepped up and like said, time is now, let's do it. You know, it was, just like I said before, the ability to just throw the table over and go, no, we're doing something different. Time of change is now.
Yeah.
I'm inspired by all the, like, it's not a marathon, like, let's do something now kind of thing. I don't know. I could go on for hours about who inspires me, because it's even in a dour time where it feels like, what's next? Aliens, zombies. There's still people who are just, stepping up, and they inspire me. I don't know how else to answer that. It's just everywhere, I think.
I
Everywhere
love
and nowhere,
I love that answer, and it inspires me that you said you take little bits from different people, and then you sort of montage that into your role, and because sometimes I don't do that. The person has to be 100% inspiration for me in order for me to be
Yeah.
but I like that. It's more open-minded to say I take little bits from different people, and that teaches me, and that
And
inspires.
you could take inspiration from your enemies too, sometimes, if you have that open-mindedness. I do think that's what a lot of people do, is that they fall in love with, I think that's true for the country right now. You fall in love with someone's, mystique, and everything that they say must be right or wrong.
Mhm.
I don't buy that. Like, the greatest person can have amazing. There are things about Elon Musk that I think are amazing and inspirational, and there are things about him that are loathsome and whatever. Like,
Mhm.
you could say that about a lot of people.
Yeah.
So pick out the ones that are amazing and inspirational. That guy has a definite throw the table over,
Yeah. Yeah.
inspiration. Who would have thought that a guy who founded who was involved in PayPal could be into, like, electric cars and drive through all that morass, and then go, okay, now we're going to space. Now we're going to, that's amazing. Yet you see all the bad things that he does
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Well,
So
Steve Jobs
not bad
too.
things.
You know,
Yeah.
rest in peace, Steve Jobs. But there was that too. I guess we're all
Steve
50%.
Jobs, great example. Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of bad to him. He
Yeah.
did. But
But so much good.
amazing inspirational characters and people of the 21st century, 20th century. But yeah, very flawed.
Yeah.
Don't pick up on the flawed. Don't be inspired by the flawed things. Be inspired by the good things.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Steve, because I mean, to end on that is just, to me, very inspiring.
Likewise, thank you so much for this opportunity. Anytime you want, we'll do a follow up, whatever.
I'd love to. Maybe